So I'm getting ready to move, and I'm going through my garage, and I have totes of things I had gotten from the scrap bin at work. And I saw this beauty sitting there, and I thought I might make a video about it. This is a Festo block, that's what we call them anyways. It's a pneumatic control unit. It's essentially a PLC for air. In fact, it's almost identical to a PLC. To show you, I got one here. This is an Allen Bradley SLC 500. It's a bunch of modules stacked up. Beep. You got these cards that have I/O or analog in or communication out, what have you. And you just put them together in this back plane here. Oops. And you slide them in, you tell the PLC what it has attached to it, and then it goes from there. So this does that for air, and it kind of needs serial control from a PLC. You might be able to fudge it with an Arduino, I don't know. But this takes data, signals from the PLC, and it will turn off and on these solenoid valves. And again, these are interchangeable. You can put whatever you like in there, and they're going to be different types of valves. I've got them written on there. Good focus. And it's not going to focus. Stamped right on there, just the schematic for the type of solenoid it is. So we're going to go from left to right. First off here, we have our serial control. So this takes data from the PLC. We've got these dip switches inside of it. These ones here control the IP address of the Festo block you're using. That tells the PLC where it is. And then these guys here are the baud rate for the PLC. And if you don't know what that is, it's just wankery. So these guys slide into this. It's just like a backplane on a PLC. And these blades in here are just conductors, and they transmit, and they slide into these little slots in the back here, and they meet up with contactors. So this guy's the brain. It's taking in all the information from the PLC. This guy here is a digital I/O. These here take a 3-pin, blanking on the name, cable, industrial cable, 3-pin. They go to sensors, and they'll usually be on cylinders to see if it's retracted or extended, just to fact check to make sure it's doing what it's being told. So sensors get plugged into here. These little lights indicate what's going on. These can be broken down even further. Let's see. If one of these is hosed, you can just replace this rather than the whole deal, because these are about $400 per card. And again, you can see the back plane. It's just got these blades still. Then we get into the air side of it. And you want to see, you need to bolt together just like PLC. So you've got these cards. You can kind of see them blocked up here. And you just screw them together. There's a program that Festo put out. You go and tell it what's on the block. And then you tell the PLC what the Festo can do, and you go from there. So you have air inlet. This is the main air in. This guy kind of rearranges the blades here into something that these can use, since they don't have the same kind of hookup on the back. So these are solenoid controlled air valves, essentially. These get a 24-volt signal, and they will shuttle the spool in there. And depending on how it's ported, we'll direct air to one place or another. And they're stackable relief valves and pressure control valves that you can put on these as well. So it's very modular. Again, this one here, it's just a bigger valve, and I actually got this one ripped apart so we can see what's going on. So this is the solenoid, and and your main air actually goes through this. You can see the little porting on the back. There's a little pilot valve that's actuated by the solenoid. Now these are ported through the main block to where they need to go inside of here. Even to the back side. This is actually 2 solenoid valves in one. It's just meant for higher airflow. They cut out the double action and just made these single acting, and they stuck 2 of them in there. So it does the same job. It just lets more air through. As you can see, these are the spools that are inside that larger valve, and they're quite a bit wider than these little guys. So these guys are going to have just smaller versions of these in there. This is non-magnetic. It's really light. I do believe it's steel and not titanium. It's definitely not aluminum. It is machined and polished. It's got a little Pnuematic O-ring in there. And it's actually not one part. If you look at here, the center bit, it's peened in. It's kind of hard to see. Heat shrunk or press fit in there. They're all just capped up. And you want to see a fancy O-ring. You can see that. I can't get it out. It's a Pnuematic O-ring made custom for this part, and it segments out all the different ports. And then if you're not using a section, you can put one of these just blanks in there. It keeps the air from shooting out these holes that are normally exposed. You can see on the back plane, we just got all the porting for the I/O, and then our main air is coming in as well here. Then lastly, these little guys are just push and connect air fittings. You don't really see these outside of industry too much, but they're really nifty. If you can see, the barrel on them is round, so how would you unscrew that, right? You gotta get your pliers on there? No, it's actually really nice. You get the right size Allen wrench, stick them down the middle, and you can unscrew them. They're hex broached on the inside here. And these are Festo proprietary ones. I think Pneumatics and a bunch of other companies make them as well, but they are hex broached. Makes things nice. One little touch that's really nice about the Festo units, and not so much about the Pneumatic ones that I've worked with. Pneumatics puts out a similar kind of block system like this. But the screws, they fall out. These ones are caged. So you unscrew them, and you got to unscrew them again to get the screw out, which is really nice because most of the time these are mounted upside down, so you try to unscrew them and the screws just fall out. Or you try to screw them in and the screws won't stay. So that's a nice touch. Festo is a German company. These parts are all made in Hungary. And Festo is the parent company for Festool, who makes carpentry saws and stuff. We've seen a couple reviews for those. So, all that saw was kind of meh. These are really well made. The plastics on them, none of them are really stamped. Well, this one is. This is PA6, glass fiber 30%. These black bits here are something I've never heard of. It's PA XMD GF50, so it's some kind of nylon with 50% glass fiber filling. Good focus. So good plastics. I assume it's ubiquitous all throughout. All the metal on it's just zinc steel. Yep. Piece of industrial Lego.